Hi, experts. Welcome back to day 2 of Buttons and Boxes Boot Camp. Remember that yesterday you took the first step by learning how to spot your subtopic. And just for a quick review, our topic is what the whole book is about. So, my whole book is about being, or not wanting to be, a Roman gladiator. And what each page or section is about is a subtopic. So now that we're familiar with that, we're moving on to step 2, and that's finding the best details. So once you know what your page is about, the next step is to read it and decide which are the best details that I want to keep. Because as you know, in the books that you're reading, there are a ton of details, and some might be more important than others. So just a quick review. Remember that this is what our buttons and boxes looks like. And remember that our buttons are details. And that buttons, we find buttons in our books. So we can actually point to a button. It's a fact that we find and that we feel is important. So in order to decide what the best details are, there's 2 parts that readers think about. First, let me move this down a little bit. First, they make sure that these details relate to their subtopic, okay? So are these the best details? Yes, if they relate to what my subtopic is talking about. And the reason for this is because we want all of our details to fit together so that we can form a new idea. Then the second thing we want to make sure is that it teaches us something that makes us think. Either a huh, or a wow, or I want to remember that, or this is important. So, if you remember, yesterday we were talking about the subtopic of punishment. Okay? So I know that my next step is to find the best details to put below this subtopic. So I'm going to read this whole page and decide what relates to my subtopic and what is something that teaches something that makes me think. All right. Behave or be punished. It's no use trying to escape, since the gladiator school is surrounded by high walls and fences. You won't be able to climb over them without being spotted by the security guards. But if you attack a staff member, you will be punished. The school has a prison, a dark, rat-infested hole where prisoners are shackled and chained to the walls. If you're unlucky enough to be locked inside, eat whatever the guards give you. It might be days before you get your next rotten meal. If you cause trouble too often, your owner might sell you, and you could end your days working in the mines. The choice is yours. Okay, so I've read the main text, but I also want to check out some of the text features like this sidebar, this drawing, and this handy hint. Okay, so punishments, branding. A runaway will have FEH and the initials of his owner, such as LT, burned into his forehead? Holy cats. It means this man is the runaway slave of Lucius Titus. Or flogging. Oh, that looks bad. 100 lashes of the whip will tear the skin from a runaway's back. Oh my God, that is disgusting. Or the stocks. For a first offense, you might be locked in the stocks for a week. That means you would be locked in till next Tuesday. Time for you to learn how to behave. Handy hint. The prison was a low ceiling. The prison has a low ceiling. There's not enough room to stand, so you have to lie or crouch on the ground. I never thought I'd miss that porridge. I never thought I'd miss the ash dessert. Okay, so I've read my whole page. Now I want to decide what are the best details, and are these the best details? So if I'm using my iPad, here are the steps that I would take. I've already prepared my topic, and I'm going to add a new note. Now, anytime I have a subtopic, I am going to name that note the subtopic so it's easy to find. So this is all about punishments. So I'm going to name it that. And then I'm going to create a box of buttons by pulling out this typing sticky. And if your buttons don't show up right away, the secret place to look is in this side menu. And just choose this one. Then the button should pop up. So I want to look back and find the best details. Now, the ones that really relate to punishments and also jumped out at me as either important or something I wanted to remember. So the first one was that gladiators were punished by being locked in prisons. Okay, that's one detail I want to remember. And then also, like, when they were in that prison, they were given no food or rotten food. Okay, that sounds like a punishment to me. And from that sidebar, I learned that there was other punishments. So I want to include those too, because those definitely stood out to me as being important and also definite wow moments. So other punishments included branding on the forehead. I want to add that detail. On the forehead. Flogging. And the stocks. Okay, so I've got 3 details that I want to keep. And I just want to double check that they fit those 2 checks. Do they relate to my topic of punishment? Yeah, I see punishment right in this word. And like getting no food or rotten food is definitely a punishment. And this is also about punishments. So that part I did. And does it teach me something that makes me think? Heck yeah. It makes me think that I definitely wouldn't have wanted to be a gladiator because there's no way that I'm staying in the stocks for a week or getting something branded on my forehead by some mean owner. So, you will be doing the same thing. So let me move these sticky notes around. You also have the choice, if you're someone who likes to write, to do the same thing. Now, the only difference is you put your topic up on the big blank part, and then every time you start a new subtopic, or a new buttons and boxes, put the subtopic right above it. So I know exactly what this is all going to be about. And these are some handy notes, all from the same page, and that buttons come from my book. So during reading time today, you are going to first check in to show me how this went for you by doing the best details quick check. And that's going to be on Schoology under Lesson Extensions and Lesson 5. Then when you're done, read till you find a great page where you're learning something that really interests you. And then take a photo or a screenshot, or if you're writing in your notebook, you can give the page number. Name your note, like I did here, punishments, with your subtopic. Or if you're using a notebook, put it right above. Then write or type the 3 best details you can find, keeping in mind that these details should relate, they should relate to your subtopic. Oh, this is not my best work. They should relate to your subtopic and all fit together and teach you something that makes you think, huh, or wow, or this is important, or I want to remember that. Alrighty, happy reading.